No, I was just saying, I was asking, like, how are we going to start? Like, I mean, if there is a presentation.
Our moderator will start. Dr. Kuldeep
Yes,
Dean
sir, I
will start. Okay. Professor, sir, yes.
Whether he is with us.
School or I just call him.
No, sir. Once you find him, please let me know. Thank
you. Yes, sir. He hasn't joined yet, sir. He hasn't joined yet. We're finding him.
Yeah, am I laudable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We have to take, just I was trying to check with the. I believe started.
Okay, sir.
He joined. He was online just a few seconds before. Just 10 o'clock he was. Let me see. Yeah, Dr. Kuldeep, I believe we should start it, okay?
Okay, sir.
He will join, then he can.
Okay, good morning to all. I, Dr. Kuldeep, Dean Academics, on behalf of Alakh Prakash, Goyal, Shimla University, welcome you all to this webinar. Is joining with us. So, Hardik Goyal ji, Science from University of Hertfordshire, England in 2015. He worked in Florida International University as a postdoc. His research interest area includes artificial intelligence, machine learning, cyber security, digital health, virtualization, and social media. He is also working on how to prepare quality diversified workforce with artificial intelligence in science, technology, engineering, and math peer-reviewed journals and many conferences. He has certification in Cyber Certified Network and Security Professionals, Network and Cloud Security by IEEE, Wired and Wireless Networking using by IEEE, Computer Society, and Data Analytics using R. He is professional and like member of various technical bodies, including IEEE, ISTE, CSTA USA, Internet of Society, New York chapter, IAC, SIT Singapore, IENG, CSI. Welcome, sir, to this webinar on artificial intelligence and cyber securities. We have another speaker, Dr. Bashiru Arimu. I think he will be joining us in a couple of minutes. So, till then, we have our Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Ramesh Kumar Chaudhary with us. So I would request, sir, to please have welcome remarks on today's webinar on artificial intelligence and cyber security. Please, sir. Doctor.
Yeah. It's a good morning to one and all. AP Goyal Shimla University extends warm greetings to all of you in this valuable webinar, because in COVID-19, no more seminar, it's a webinar only. Dr. Hardik Goyal, to give us opportunity to organize a webinar. Already Dr. Kuldeep has, but he's a young, dynamic and intelligent technical guy. He is the founder of artificial intelligence lab there. So he's a pure AI guy, and with this webinar, we have connected AI with the cyber security. So I believe that you will get the
across like all research were about like unstructured data. So let's say social media is having the unstructured data like audio, video, and text, numeric, graphics, and all the different the data that you cannot store in database in a single format. The whole data is disseminated and unstructured. So you have to collect and you have to store somewhere like where you can deal with the unstructured data. So people were talking about how we can collect, we can design the database where we can store unstructured data. So that was the literature study. And then once you store the data, how you can manage the data, how you can retrieve the data. So that all were the focused in 2010. So I found there is a research gap that there is no any way to obtain a critical information from the social media. So I started working on it, if there is any way, we can obtain the critical information from the social media. And just social media was very much new, so nobody was focused on the security. So what are the securities associated with the social media? So with that research gap, I come across with the developed solution that is social intelligence, that I give the name, which is like applying artificial intelligence on the social media. And it was a combination of like social data mining, social data and web semantic, and retrieval and warehousing. So that was my proposed solution in 2000, I think 13. I designed with the solution, and this is the like helicopter view of the research framework. This is not the actual research framework, but this is easy to understand for anyone. So that's why I represent it in that way. So I have targeted in two different social media. The one is a Twitter and another is a Facebook. And there were like a ready-made API of the Twitter and the Facebook, but it was not that enough robust. So I have designed and developed my own API, and I have collected the data from the social media, and using R, I have designed the analytics script and stored social media data as well as analytics into the SQL server, and then I use those results or the findings to visualize by using there's a social intelligence visualization. And also I was able to display the charts and diagrams of the suspicious instant activities and the messages that was happening using the Facebook Messenger. So that data as well as analytics into the SQL server, and then I use those result of the research that was that what I have accomplished in 2015. So the broader it was like I was able to gain perceptions from the large amount of the data that is floating on the social media. Another one is I was able to perform a data sampling where I was able to analyze the data of the social media and the information rendering over the social media related to the medicine and medical, government and governance policies, business and commercial organizations, so that they can get some ideas for their decision making. Another one is monitor suspicious activities, just like there were some e-crimes happening on the social media because of lack of securities at that time. So I was able to monitor suspicious activities, like if somebody is doing instant message using the messenger, how we can monitor those suspicious activities. And another one was like prediction of the trends in market, economy, healthcare, and all over world, trends. That was also I was able to predict using the social media. So that was a little fun, fancy and state of art. Just like nowadays, if you do something with the AI, it becomes really fancy. Whether it is a medical field, whether it is the energy field, whether it is STEM field, education field, anywhere, everybody is talking about AI. At that time, social media was booming, so everybody was talking about social media, and I did like a PhD in the social media, information analytics, and then security. So that was all related to my PhD. And then, let's talk about the current trends. So this, webinar is titled on artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. But the AI is just like one field. Just like we just cannot say like computer science. So computer science is a one field, but it has like a lot of subdivision in the computer science, computer engineering, and all those fields. So same as AI is not the single field. It has also the subfields available, and it is a very wide field. So the current trends in AI, what are the current trends available? So before 2 or 3, I think, yeah, before 2 weeks, I was addressing my students, those who were graduating. So in my address, I put about some current trends that students should go into. So I mean, ultimately, the thing matter is whatever you is makes you passionate about, you do, you will do it very greatly. But if you want to see what are the current trends and technologies in the field of AI and cybersecurity, or in the field of IT or technology, so the one that I would say is the AI at edge. So what is AI at edge over here? AI at edge means what? It is a combination of two different fields. The first one is artificial intelligence, obviously, and the edge is edge computing. So we have seen the different eras of the computing, like IoT computing, cloud computing. So there is a fog computing. So the fog computing becomes like edge computing, and the edge is also having applying AI. So whenever you are applying artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm on the edge computing, that becomes AI edge. So like nowadays, people they wants to make a computation so faster that they don't want to process the data on the cloud only. So to avoid the data processing on the cloud, if we can provide the data processing on the devices itself, so the data that can process by the device, that we call edge computing. So let's say, for example, this is our phone. So let's say your iPhone, or let's say your smartphone is, analyzing the data, and only the information which is useful is going to the cloud, not all the information going to the cloud. So there is a communication between device and cloud and device that takes little more time, that we can avoid if we can compute data and we can do the computation over the edge. So there is one field that talks about the edge computing and AI altogether. So AI at edge, so you can apply actual analytics on the edge instead of doing into the cloud. So that is best thing. That is one of the best trends that's going on nowadays. The another one is the cognitive robots and drone. So nowadays, like, people are talking about the drone and robotics. So robotics, like, automated tasks, doing your home, homemaking works, doing your, army related works, and also doing, like, normal, like, delivery boy works and all those things. So, like, we are going in one direction where, like, drones, they will take all the kind of, like, delivery and processing things, and sending and receiving mails and everything. So that can be done by the drone. There won't be needed of the, like, physical entity, physical person. So the cognitive robots and drone, that is also happening in the market. Robotics is a really big field, is a vast field, where robotics control is happening in the market. So what you need to do, like, you can control. So for example, there are nuclear plants available. What you can do is, like, you can control nuclear plants and can monitor by using the drones and robots. You can also create a robots that can go into the field where it's very hard to send the human beings, and it has a capacity to work over the time and over the period, where the robots is having, like, inbuilt cognitive science and artificial intelligence techniques. So robot, they also learn by themselves and becomes smart and smart. So let's say, for example, Google is working on, like, applying a TensorFlow. TensorFlow is one of the framework of the AI that Google is developing. So applying a TensorFlow on the robotics, where TensorFlow is become more and more smarter based on the movement of the robots, and it also controls robots once it becomes smart. So the cognitive robots and drone is one of the field, and it also helps, like, monitoring smart automation and self-driven car. So this field is also, like, most interesting nowadays. Another one is a cyber physical system. So cyber physical system is a combination of RFID and IoT and internet, embedded system, wireless sensor networks, mobile network, satellite communication networks, and nowadays we are talking about 5G and all. So yeah, we can control, like, using the 5G, we can control and we can communicate to from one continent to another continent a real time, and that is also, like, extremely faster. So the field is like cyber physical system. The best example I can give is a self-driven car or driverless car we are talking about. That is the best example of cyber physical system. Google as well as Uber, they are investing a lot of money, and they have invested already a lot of budget to the autonomous car. So the autonomous car is not only, like, it is driving car without involvement of the human being, but it also controls and it also have sense of the communication from the among the cars. So for example, let's say if I am traveling, I'm driving from one road and you are driving from other road, how your car can recognize that there is a more traffic and there is a less traffic, or there is an accident and there is no accident. Okay, because it has a GPS for sure, but there is a need of the communication. So there is a also, like, peer-to-peer car communication. So let's say your car is somewhere located little far, and my car is located somewhere little far. Although they can communicate by applying the peer-to-peer communication. So there is a no need to have, like, central entity. Let's say you have a satellite, you have a workstation, and based on satellite and workstation, you are trying to control the car, autonomous car communication. But no, here the thing is a different. We are trying to control by providing a communication among all the self-driven or autonomous car. And that is really, really, state-of-art technology that is happening in the market. The another one is the adversarial machine learning. This is the best example or the best trends in the machine learning is going on. So adversarial machine learning in the sense what? That instead of we are trying to manipulate and interpret um, interrogate data and like some system, we are trying to manipulate the machine learning models and the algorithms. So that is called adversarial machine learning. So here you see the example that it's funny because the left seeing it's if you are giving it to the neural network and train the neural network, so it will gives you as a like this image is representing a suit. Okay, the suit president has weird. And if you are adding some perturbations which is in the middle that you can see, you are adding into the model, and then the same image you are trying to recognize, then it shows like this image is representing a wig. So you see the same different image, just like additional complexity that you are adding into your machine learning model. It is predicting two different scenarios with the same image. So that is what happening in the computer vision field. Before they Facebook develop their PyTorch framework, they were not able to recognize whether it is a Taj Mahal or not. So they were recognizing Taj Mahal as an Eiffel Tower and Eiffel Tower as something else. Okay, so there were not the proper data processing and pre-processing and labeling, and also there were like some adversarial machine learning happens. So for example, let's say this is my image. Okay, so my image I'm feeding into the computer, and I'm saying like it's a Hardik Gohal. But let's say let's say consider our your Shimla University's vice chancellor, Dr. Ramesh Chaudhry's image. I'll steal all their image. Let's say I have a collection of his 10,000 and 50,000 images of Dr. Ramesh Chaudhry, and I label his image as a Hardik Gohal. So wherever you see my image, wherever you see his image, you will see that he is Hardik Gohal. He is not the Ramesh Chaudhry. So that is what like adversarial, labeling happening over there. So you are training the data and you are manipulating the machine learning model. So you are not only manipulating the data levels, you are also manipulating the machine learning models by applying some of the complexity over there. So that is what the current trends are happening. There are so many different trends that I can talk about, like in the IoT field, in the smart health, and everywhere. But this is what like came across in my mind in my study recently, and I'm seeing like this fields will go very long in the next 2-3 years. This is what I talk about, like our current trends happening in the market. Now let me discuss something about like my projects. So I'm not going into the details project and the detailed research, but little bit primary information. I'm not sure like how much time I have, but I can talk about like each and every project. I can talk about like 4 and 5 hours.
Sir,
If
you can take your time, no problem, sir. Please.
Okay, okay, great. Yeah. So like the first project that I would like to discuss is about the health monitoring using IoT. Why I choose this project as a first project? The reason behind, like nowadays everybody is talking about the smart healthcare and digital healthcare, and due to the pandemic and COVID-19, there is a big need of like there's a high need of like making automation of the health monitoring, and there is a proposed solution that we can monitor health using IoT. I'm going to discuss about in this project. So like everybody knows about like IoT, which is IoT is a giant network of the connected things, and the IoT is having like the different network that are the different devices that are connected with the same network, and there is also possibilities of like different network has a different devices, and those all networks are associated with each other, and their devices are also associated with each other. So that we call the wide IoT. Okay, so if we are talking about the networking, there is a three different types of the networking, like LAN, WAN, and MAN. So the same kind of like IoT is also having like the small IoT, big IoT, giant IoT, wide area IoT, metropolitan area IoT kind of the things. So that kind of like IoT is having the era. Now, what the proposed solution, that what my project is talking about here, is that IoT is having the edge computing, and it is also having the artificial intelligence. So here I'm talking about the three different technologies. The one is the IoT, the another one is the edge computing, which is the old word if you see is the fog computing, and the third we are talking about the artificial intelligence. So how does this system works over here? So let's say, for example, there is a cloud which stores the data. So let's say now everybody is using the smart watch, the Apple Watch. So like smart watch is collecting a lot of data about your body. So let's say human body data is collected by either smartwatch or any other body sensors or wearable devices. So all the data that wearable devices, either it may be a smartwatch or can be anything, is stored into the cloud, and we are analyzing the data onto the cloud. But here what we are doing is we are putting one interface. So here you see there is a smart watch which is generating a data or collecting a data of the human body. Before it goes to the cloud, there is one interface in between we call edge. And the edge is doing what? So whatever data is collected by the smart watch, that is going first to the edge, and it is doing the real-time data processing. So you see, like instead of applying data analytics, AI, and machine learning into the cloud, we are applying AI and machine learning or analytics thing into the edge. So the edge computing, what it does, it allows data from internet of things devices to analyze at edge of the network before it is being sent to the data center or to the cloud. So here, what it happens, this is 1,000 or let's say 10,000 times faster than the device to cloud and cloud to device. Why it is faster? Because the edge, it is available within the device itself. So there is no communication between to and from to the cloud, and that is one of the benefit that it is a faster. And this is the robust solution that we can provide, and it also satisfy the condition of the social distancing. So let's say the patient who is not having knowledge about the medical field, but we have trained our AI algorithm based on the medical field data, and it is working on the edge and the device itself. So what happens over here, that device itself is so smart that it can recognize, it can analyze whether there is some disease, or there is some there are blood pressures, and there is sugar cholesterol issues and all those things. So let's say for normal kind of checkups and reports, you should not go to the doctor or the clinic. It can be done at home by either by the patient, him or herself, or the nearest relative or the family members of the patient. So that is the best advantage or benefit of this solution. So how this solution can work. So the solution can be proposed in three different ways. So let's say the one solution is you can have the solution on the premises. So let's say we can implement this solution on the premise, and we can also use a third-party cloud. And the another one is a hybrid. So let's say half of the solution that we are having on the premises, and some we are using on the cloud. That way we can make it as a hybrid. How does it work? What is the flow of the data over here? So the flow of the data is like the data sources, the smartwatch, and all those data that is you can see over here. So what those data are doing over here, they are just collecting the data. For example, let's say I have a problem of the heart, for example. So it is collecting my heartbeat data from the smartphone, and that can be the different data types, and based on the data types it goes to the data ingestions, and that's stored over there. So after that the data storage maybe using like Hadoop, and also use Spark as an in-memory analysis. It is storing the data over here, and the data storage, whatever the data we have collected, that goes to the data processing and analytics. So over here we are applying AI and machine learning algorithms. So algorithms, we are talking about the random forest algorithm, neural network algorithm, naive Bayes algorithm, and different types of algorithm that we are talking about here. And whatever the result has been generated by the algorithm, that also goes here for the storage. So here in data storage, we have two things. The one is the raw data and also processed data with the results. That is what we call the visualization. That we call like outcomes or the results. So that all we can visualize over here. So that is what the pipeline executions of the smart healthcare monitoring system over here. So this is the additional scenario that we can expand here. So you the wearable and implant body sensors that is collecting what ECG, EMG, EEG, and also the motion from the body. And if there is any interface, for example, let's say mobile devices that collects connect that uses like this interfaces like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and they are connected to the edge computing gateway. So the edge computing gateway is analyzing the data, and it is also diagnosis and giving the alert, and whatever the results are there, that goes onto the cloud server for the storage. So this is what all about the framework engineering part, or in other words, data engineering. So this is what the data engineering of the healthcare monitoring system design and the development. AI and ML algorithm on the edge gateway or the edge computing, which is a real time. So let's say device collecting. Another is the intelligent decision on the IoT devices gateway, and only anomaly data transfer to the cloud. So the data that has like little anomaly. So for example, let's say if I'm collecting heartbeat data by using the smart sensor, and when the data collection is going on, so it is saying the pattern, because we are talking about AI here. So AI always works on the pattern. So the pattern is like 70 to 72 heartbeats per minute. But let's say it happens sometimes like heartbeats are 62 or 60. So it's anomalous behavior of the heart. So it will give immediate notification to the patient immediate relatives, to whom we need to contact in the emergency, and also the doctor or the physician, that this is what the anomalous behavior of your patient happening at the time of the health monitoring. So this is what research findings and benefits of the proposed research. So that was like one project, and that project was a part of like Florida International University's NSF funding, and that funding was for 2 years, and that was related to like smart healthcare, autonomous healthcare monitoring system. The another project that I have I'm in a collaboration with Doctoral Simplis Health company in India. This company is also Delhi-based company, and Delhi and Bangalore-based company. And this company is 1 million of this solution that we did to the COPD, and why there is a like 251 cases in and but they do not have like country and healthcare. Whenever it's of the healthcare emergency, we should have like some remote and immediate solution that the patient can do at home. And also use of tobacco in India only when it is detected early. No means of the and this is what all about. We have proposed a solution here. What is robust solutions and can be available has been funded by to do some state of art of the defense system. The technologies that has been involved. Domain is like with the technology which allows you to set up and handle. You can do anything with that. So in that case, virtual machine host, which is the hypervisor, is having like virtual machines over that. In fact, that virtual machine cannot detect. I mean, it has like normal. And you can control, you can monitor, that and can be detected by antivirus. So in that case, virtual machine host, which is the hypervisor, we call is having like virtual machines when there's those rootkits, and then can identify whether the data, the memory, sorry, the value or whatever the developed solution. This is the introspection, and the introspection that looks directly inside the virtual machine of the memory. And the rootkit cannot hide from the introspections. It can hide from the antivirus, but cannot hide from the introspections. And the data transferred to the network server for the machine learning analysis also. So let's say, for example, as I told you, I give you the example of the heartbeats. So let's say if there is a less than 65 or 60 heartbeats, so it is the anomaly data of the heartbeat, because the normal data is 70 to 72. Here, let's say the normal behavior of the operating system's memory has been collected, and if there is something happens other than this the normal behavior of the memory, then it can be considered as an anomalous behavior of the memory. And that can be caused due to the rootkits available within the memory. And that can be detected by the AI and machine learning algorithms. And that immediately flags as an anomaly to the network administrator, and it can look into particular monitor or that. And this is what the introspector. So we are talking about like introspector. So how introspector works over here. So there is a control system that is having introspector, and that looks into the virtual machines of the hypervisor, introspecting the memory into the virtual machine. And there is a libvirt also, which is managing the virtual machine on behalf of the introspector. So what you are seeing here, management example is Fight Jet Airways that is having 10,000 or let's say 100,000. That means 1 lakhs. We call it India. In United States, we call it 100,000. So let's say 100,000 virtual machines. So how would you manage like monitoring as well as management and controlling of the 100,000? You can manage, control, and monitor more than like 100,000 virtual machines that's sitting in the single or let's say multiple hypervisor or the host. So that is what this machine is all. This research is all about. So this is what all I have discussed. The research finding, that what it gives and how it is benefited, how it is faster, and how it is robust with respect of all the findings over here. Another one is like the result developed from the solution or the product, like multiple virtual machines management. So which is like I already mentioned. The proposed framework was able to build like a multiple machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So let's say, for example, you have one virtual machine. That way you have hundreds and thousands of virtual machines. Each virtual machine is having operating system. Each operating system is having a different data structure, like processes, system call traces, DLL, file, and everything. And all those data which is generated by the operating system memory, that all goes to the machine learning model. So you see, we are talking about the tons of data here. But this solution is not talking about the single machine learning algorithm. It talks about multiple machine learning and deep learning algorithms with multiple data structure of the operating systems. And that's not the single operating system. It's a multiple operating system with multiple virtual machine and multiple hypervisor. So you see the scalability of the proposed solution is so robust that it is not easy to beat and compete by the rootkit or any cyber crime. So that is what the solution is about. So that was my favorite project. That is still my favorite project. However, I am more working on data science and AI, but that project was my one of the most favorite projects. The other research project that I have been involved and I am working on, these are not limited, because whatever I'm discussing here, there are also some other research projects going on, but due to confidentiality, I'm not gonna discuss those here. But anything related to the data and AI, I'm not seeing myself that I haven't touched and I haven't worked. So you talk about the nuclear plant by using AI and cyber. Yeah, I have worked in that. You are talking about the energy system. Yes, I have worked into that. You are talking about the controlling the environment, like hurricanes and thunderstorms and all. Yeah, I have worked into that. If you are talking about wind or the nature of the fishing, okay, and the nature of the and the sea life by using AI and machine learning, yes, I have done that too. So there are lot of wide varieties of applications that I have worked in by using data science and machine learning. But the other interesting research project that are very much attached to me, that's the first one is sorry, I think this is already we discussed. Yeah, the security and privacy of the social media. So I never worked after 2015 on the social media, but recently in 2018, I got a chance to again go back to the social media and work into that. And that project is about the social security and privacy of the social media. So this is the project that is funded by the Cyber Florida, and that is funding agency. So what this project is about, I'm not going to discuss about the project in details and depth, but let me tell you helicopter view of the project. The project is all about I am having organization, just let's say you guys are having the organization. It's a Shimla University, and every day there are so many people who are posting some threads or images or audio video on the social media about the university, or same is about the organization. So whatever they are posting on the social media, people are not aware about security and privacy of the organization, and they just simply randomly put anything on the social media by using the logo of the organization and name of the organization. How we can control this? So this solution is proposing for those kind of issues avoidance that we can avoid by using the security and privacy. So let's say if I am posting something on the Facebook about my university, my organization and company, I just not go into the wall and simply put on the Facebook and Twitter. What I need to do, I need to use this tool. as an interface. So here, social media content creators, and here is a social media, and in between this tool is standing over there as an interface. So what this tool does, this tool does two different things. The first, it checks the security and privacy, and it is managing the security and privacy of the social media posting or accounts of the organization, and it also manage and evaluate the trust. So let's say, for example, I just came in to the organization, my trust value would be definitely less than the person who is working in the organization, let's say, for more than 10 years. And based on the trust evaluation, it will categorize the intensity of the security and privacy management of the post that is generated by the content creator of the social media and post creators and whatever. And that is also using like natural language processing and reinforcement learning algorithms. So why we are using natural language processing over here? So let's say there are some keywords that we cannot use at a university level and organization level that violates the security and privacy of the organization. So natural language processing is a tool that can easily detect those kind of words and keywords and also their synonyms, because there is a like semantic data mining is already inbuilt available over there. And based on that, it is checking, let's say, data leakage and identity theft, the fake requests and apps and links available on the social media based on their interests and their posting. Then also what are the risks in the sharing. So let's say if you are if you're let's say your university is having some policies, and that policies is about let's say pay scale of the employees, which you cannot share on publicly, but let's say by mistake somebody is trying to say, I got like this amount of money as a salary from the university, so that is violating the security and privacy of the employees salaries data. So it will immediately give you the red flag that whatever you are sharing, that is against to the security and privacy of the your organization. So it will generate the alert to the monitoring system of the organization. So there are all many things like reputation of the organization, legal and compliances, and also like operational and behavior aspect, and other security privacy aspect. I have included more than like 95 to 100 security and privacy aspect, but it can be so many. It can be extended like anything. So that is what like security and privacy of the social media tools. And another project that predictive maintenance framework of the nuclear infrastructure using machine learning. The right hand side, the amount that you see like 200K, that is the funding amount that is funded by the funding agencies to the university and organization. So like my research funding could be like the University of Houston, or it could be the Florida International University where I came from recently. The another is a nuclear energy lidar big data analytics. Another is a HVAC sensor of the high data analytics, and AI and machine learning workforce development 2 million grant. Also database and mobile forensic infrastructures. So I was one day I was sitting and somebody told me there is a grant where you can build the capacity. I said, okay, what kind of that grant is about? They said you can have your own lab. I said, okay, I already have like my lab, but let's develop another lab. And I was thinking what it should be, and I wanted to go in the cyber security only. And I thought whatever I was trying to build a a repository of the malware data. And when I was doing my literature study, I came across in the field of digital forensics, everybody is talking about the network forensics. But the network is vulnerable or not, that is one thing that you have checked. But let's say your database is not secured and somebody is trying to attack over the data, which is like, the lower layer, if we are talking about the like, 3-tier architecture. So that's all backend. So we never, think about the backend because backend is not in the view to the user. But let's say somehow user get access to the backend and there is some cybercrime happens, how you would investigate the cybercrime with respect of the database forensics. And same is like, everybody is talking about the network forensics, but nowadays instead of network, we also need to talk about like mobile forensics because a lot of applications and life is using in the mobile. So like, I'm doing like, lot of my work like digital forensics and cybersecurity. So that is also like, recent activities that I'm doing with. So this is what all about the talk in my projects and recent trends. This is what I can conclude actually, that artificial intelligence and data science is becoming a popular in various fields like information security, in sport and fitness and health monitoring, etc. Digital health cybersecurity is also a state-of-art technology and yet need to be explored with respect of data of medical and biomedical field. The big amount of the data that floating on the social media can be extracted and we can generate essential knowledge and decision making system in the medical science based on the social media data. So let's say another day, I'm also working in a collaboration of the UT Health, University of Texas at Health over here. And UT Health, actually, there is one fact that I would like to highlight here. In Texas, Houston, we have a Texas Medical Center, which is one of the biggest medical center of the United States, and lot of medical research and activities going on over there about the health and digital healthcare. So I was talking to one guy and he said like, there are so many things that we wanted to do in the field of bioinformatics, but there is a lack of the data. I said, okay, what kind of data do you need? Then they said like, some label data and this data and that data. I said, there is a lot of data is floating on the social media and it's open source because, you can use the API and hashtag and you can collect the Twitter data. So there are so many data are floating on the social media. If you think like your solutions of AI and cybersecurities are robust enough, so you can use those social media data and you can generate some essential knowledge and can use it as a decision making in the medical field and medical science. So like nowadays if you do not have the website then it's fine. I was talking to my university, so I was talking to the vice president of the enrollment and I said like how frequent and how long you are collecting data. So they said like, okay, we are just collecting the data of the students, those who are visiting and putting inquiries to the university. I said, okay, what's their information? They mentioned about like email address and contact number. I said, are you serious? Do you think like, we can do prediction of the enrollment of our prospective students in our university based on like phone numbers and email address? We need other data labels as well. And then we had like 3-4 meetings and I was talking to the chancellor and I was talking to the dean and provost and president, and then we talked like oh, we need to collect this data. Then they said, oh, they will not provide this kind of data because of like we cannot ask like let's say date of birth in the United States because it's a violence of the data security and privacy. We cannot ask the social security. So obviously we do not need the social security of the students, but we need some certain levels or data. Based on that, we can predict some enrollment. So in the first time of the University of Houston system, I have proposed the system that today I should able to predict the enrollment of the students of the next year based on the data that we have collected, let's say 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is. So like, I mean, the organization which is not collecting the data, it is not the progressive organization. It is like, that will get dead very soon in the world. So in 19s and 2000, if you are doing a business and you do not have the website, so people said like, if you are doing business and you do not have the website, that means you are not doing the business. Now I am giving another statement that if you are doing a business and you are not collecting the data, that means you are not doing the business actually. So that is what the current trends we are talking about. The another one is a developed and presented research project, have many intellectual merits and wide broader impact. However, there are many other associated areas that can be explored. We can customize, discussed, frameworks and algorithms, and it can be used in many different fields and many different aspects. And the same algorithms and same frameworks can be used for multiple solutions. So let's say you develop the universal solutions, and that solution can be applicable to the education field and healthcare field and finance field, also manufacturing fields, oil and gas fields, and all those things actually. So that kind of solutions can be also identified by using this proposed framework that I have discussed in my presentation. I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Hardik.
Thank you, Dr.
It has been a wonderful presentation and a very valuable talk which you delivered and shared with us. That the PhD which you have done on the thesis social intelligence, it is a very valuable talk which you shared through your research conclusion. The second, the wonderful projects which you are going and undertaking different areas, which we are, it is taking us to a lot of learning platform that all your projects are funded and you're looking into good projects, even you're not limited to your research areas. A very wonderful thing that's great, which you are doing. And I'm very convinced with your wonderful projects going on in the health monitoring system, lung-based ailment screening, and cyber test automation. And yes, of course, virtual machine and machine learning. So it's a great learning to all the participants here. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor in the field of advanced computing, I hope Sir has a wonderful sharing on this particular talk which you delivered with us today. So I request Dr. Ramesh Sir, please have that kind of words on this webinar. A very wonderful webinar which we organized today with you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Kuldeep. Dr. Hardik, basically it was exceptionally mind-blowing presentations we have given. And we feel highly obliged of you. We feel highly obliged of you. We look forward to you. As you know, we are in the process to collaborate with you. And
yes, of course. Yeah.
Let's expedite this matter. You know, the artificial intelligence is one of the area in computing, which is where there is a lot of possibility of research and development. When I was doing research in artificial intelligence in the era of the 1998, and then we were teaching to the students, we were giving the examples like the washing machines and
water jug problems, maybe. Yeah, that's what I have studied in 2009 as well.
So you see, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the expert system has progressed so much, and even we don't realize your iPhone. Even you go on the social sites, it's equipped with the artificial intelligence. And the major thing which you have already said that it's analysis of data, the larger database we create. So wonderful session, and all participants are quite impressed with you. We look forward to you. And as you know that EPIGL Shimla University have started the Bachelor of Technology in Artificial Intelligence. So we look forward your kind help and to guide us. In AI, we are still budding guys. So we will take help of you. One of the second speaker has not joined. He was with us till the last moment. Maybe some problem is there. So thank you to all of you to listening Dr. Hardik Goyal, and I am really obliged of you for giving your such precious time and enlighten on this subject. Thank you, Hardik. Thank you to all participants.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad, like, Shimla University is expanding and opening this state-of-art technologies program. In my university, like, we are trying to put, I mean, we already have some concentration developed. I developed already in the field of data science and cybersecurity, but in arts and science, like music schools and psychology schools, I'm forcing them to learn about the data science. So they say, like, how it is related to us. I said, yeah, that's what you need to explore, that how it is related to you. So, like, I mean, data science, we have not limited with computer science only. Biology has to learn data science, mathematics has to learn data science, arts and science also has to learn data science. Like AI is like, it's a field applicable to every field actually. And another thing is, like, I mean, we are having a good collaboration in a couple of universities in India and also in China. And I was invited, and I was having a plan for a summer workshop in China, Beijing this year. But due to this pandemic, and recently, our federal policies, so we are like, I mean, I couldn't go there otherwise. So I was talking to my dean, and she said, like, oh, it is really big loss if we cannot continue our collaboration with China. I said, like, if we cannot continue our collaboration with China, there is a, big country which is taking attention of all over the world, and that is India, where I am coming from. I'm the part of that education system, and we can do and expand our collaboration with India. So now, like, we are also working towards like more collaboration in India only, due to, like, this all happened within 3-4 months that you guys are witness of. Yeah.
I have been also associated with the Chinese Artificial Intelligence Association, and they have conferred me the fellow. Professor Kaivin from the Gundang University, where he has the concept of the externix engineering. So I was feeling sometimes very honored to be a member of and then we used to be in touch also. And many times I have been in Beijing and in Guangzhou. But you see, this pandemic has changed the scenario and impression. So we look forward.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's always happens actually sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hade, for your wonderful presentation and your words with us. Yes. And you have shown your interest to visit Shimla. Look forward to you having a long association.
I would love to. Yeah.
And thank you all participants. Thank you all participants for having with us during this seminar and wonderful sharing on the artificial intelligence and cyber security. I hope you enjoyed this session with your great learning. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day and have a good evening, sir. Good night.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day, all of you.
Thank you.